Yo people, how's it going? It's your boy Richard Morse back at it again with another Premier League Game Week review. And this time it's Game Week number 8, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, what an interesting week of football we had. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright, we're starting off this week with Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. And yeah, that was pretty much it for Ange Postecoglou. Literally, I think he had 39 games in charge, something like that. One of the worst managerial appointments I think I've ever seen in the Premier League. And yeah, let's be honest lads, Ange Postecoglou going to Forest, it was kind of a doomed appointment from the start. Like, part of me feels bad for Ange. Like, he probably thought, like, going into this team, this Nottingham Forest team that were flying up in the league under Nuno, after it was a sour ending at Tottenham. Like, he won them their first trophy for Tottenham in, 16, 18 years, how long it was, and then pretty much gets sacked, like, a couple of months later. Then he thinks, you know what, this Forest team, I could actually get something out of this team. I could really put my philosophy into this team. He doesn't even last a month. Literally has the international break and then comes back and gets sacked. Like, you might as well sacked him during the international break. I don't know why they bother bringing him back. Like, oh well. But that's the Nottingham Forest owner, mate. He's an absolute basket case. So can you be surprised? No. And I thought Abramovich was ruthless. This guy's even worse. So yeah, that's another win for Chelsea. And Chelsea are really starting to find floor, like, under Enzo Maresca. So it looks like Chelsea, they're a bit of a sleeper horse. Like, they're a bit of a dark horse. Like, you think, oh, they're too far behind. But when you look at the table, they're not actually that far behind the top. So, and, you know, if they keep creeping up, next thing you know, maybe a title race for Chelsea. It's definitely a top 4 race, but possibly a title race. Who knows? We'll see. All right, then we move on to Brentford 2, Newcastle 1. And yeah, similar sort of game for Newcastle where they seem to take a really good start and then they just fall apart. And yeah, Brighton have just turned it around recently. Like, we beat them a couple of weeks ago, and it feels like since we beat them, like, it feels like they've turned a corner now, and they finally found a bit of form, a little bit more consistency, and like just seem like more of a settled squad. So yeah, it's an interesting result for them. I think that pushes them a bit further up the table and contendership for European football again. So yeah, Newcastle, even though the new guy Voldemay's scoring, like, he's doing all he can to score, but then defensively they still need a bit of a reboot. I think in January they need to look at trying to upgrade their defence, and hopefully once they do that, things will change. Alright, going on to my boys, the Cherries, up the Reds, up the Chers. Yeah, Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 3, and yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a game. Personally, for me, I think that was the game of the week. I'm not saying that just because I'm a Bournemouth fan. I think just look at the scoreline. In fact, it was 3-3. Both teams are flying right now. How could it not be the game of the week? Surely, right? I'm not saying that just as a Bournemouth fan. I'm just saying that compared to the other games, how could it not be? Yeah, Mateta, man. I was at the game. I did a watch along for the match day for the game. And yeah, boy, I can see what Palace fans are saying about Mateta. My God, he is relentless, and he is in the form of his life. Like, every time we were going ahead, we were 2-0 up, there was still the feeling that they could come back, and he did. It became 2-2, and even when we went up again 3-2, there wasn't a lot of belief that we could actually hold on for the win. And yeah, unfortunately we let a stupid penalty go away. It became 3-3, but honestly, going into that game, I did say if we can get a draw out of this Palace team, I'll happily take that. And to be honest, looking back on it in reflection, I think, to be honest, a draw is a fair result. I think Crystal Palace fans will say that as well. Bournemouth fans will say that. And yeah, it was gutting that we couldn't hold on for the win. But like I said, even when we went 3-2 up, there wasn't a lot of belief that we could hold on. Defensively, Mateta was just running circles around us. And in brutal honesty, Mateta should have made it 4-3. Palace should have won that game, really, to be honest. But yeah, we move on. We take a point. That's now seven games unbeaten. We've only literally lost one game, and that was against Liverpool on the first day, literally the first game of the season. You know, that's not bad for Bournemouth. And like, you know, when we were 2-0 up, we were technically top of the league. I know it didn't last for very, very long, but hey, that just shows you how far we come. You know, a couple of seasons ago, we were losing 9-0 to Liverpool. And, you know, since that loss to Liverpool at the start of the season, we've gone on to challenge for top 4, even top 1. Like, it just blows my mind how well this season has gone for us so far. And yeah, we play Forest next week, and obviously, God knows who's the coach is going to be, who the manager is. So, really, this is the perfect time for us to play them. So, yeah, we'll see how that game goes. Okay, now we move on to Manchester 2, Everton 0. Obviously, Jack Grealish was loan tied for this one, so he couldn't play. So I think that really did hinder Everton's performance in that game. Iliman Ndiaye, like he was trying, but, you know, Man City, when Haaland's on form and wants to score, you can't stop him. And yeah, it was just one of those where it does feel a little bit like if Haaland doesn't score, City are in trouble. But yeah, once again, the big man, the Viking, shows up, and yeah, 2-0, and that's another win in the bag for City. They're starting to crawl up the table again, so we'll see how that one goes. Alright, next game. Sunderland 2, Wolves 0. Like, poor Wolves, man. I just feel bad for them now. They just lose every week. They must expect it at this point. I think a lot of them have kind of accepted already. They're probably going to get relegated. Unless they have like a miracle turnaround in January. Make some new signings, get some new system, new players, new tactics in. It's not looking good for Wolves, unfortunately. Sunderland, honestly, they really impressed me. Like, everybody sort of laughed when it was the Granit Xhaka signing and thought, that's not going to mean much. But no, honestly, Sunderland have honestly impressed me. And I'm kind of nervous when we have to play them. Like, years ago, I'd have thought, it's one of the top teams that come up from the Championship. This has been an easy win. Not anymore, lads. Like, no. Sunderland are flying. And honestly, I'm quite nervous about playing them. They're tactically very strong. And obviously, Granit Xhaka being that experienced guy, coming from the Leverkusen unbeaten run as well, he's the sort of man, like, takes charge of that team and puts them on to greater results. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one when we play them in a couple of weeks. Alright, we move on to Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Yeah, it was a fair play to Fulham. They put up a bit of a fight, but, you know, it's just Arsenal they are the best team in the league right now. They're defensively solid. You can't score against them. Even though Gyökeres hasn't scored many goals, the way the team has been built, it just feels like it doesn't matter if he doesn't score. They can still find a way to win, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And yeah, Arsenal, top of the league, they're flying right now. And, you know, if Liverpool and Man City don't really give them a challenge now, it might be one of those where the points gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's too late to catch them. You know, it's a bit like in fantasy football. If you start off badly and you're constantly doing catch up, you'll never be in the top. Unless the people at the top have an absolute madness and fall from grace, you're always going to be like 50 points, 100 points behind. That's basically what's happening right now with Arsenal, where they're going to be so many points ahead. Like, even if City and Liverpool start winning games again, they still aren't going to have enough time to catch up. And that's basically what's going to happen. I do feel Arsenal are the favourites to win this league. I feel like Liverpool are going through a transitional... They tried to do this Galactico sort of thing, and it's not quite worked out. City just rely on Haaland. It's literally Haaland or bust. If Haaland isn't scoring, then they're in trouble. So yeah, it does feel like Arsenal are easily the favourites to win this league. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Alright, now we move on to Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2. A huge win for Villa. Like, Villa have such a really weird start to this season. Like, you just can't figure out what's going wrong with them. Like, last season they were one of the most really technically sound teams in the league, and yeah, just this season they've just fallen off a cliff. Not quite know what's going on, and especially going up against Tottenham. Tottenham have been flying so far, so you think Tottenham would be easily the favourites to win this match, but no, fair play to Villa. They turned up against Tottenham and got 2-1 out of it. 3 points in the bag, that pushes them up the table. Tottenham are still up the table, so it's not like the end of the world if they lost to Villa, but still, you would expect them to get the win, especially at home. So it's a little bit embarrassing for Tottenham, but, you know, we move. Alright, it's a big one. Liverpool 1, Man United 2. Yeah, man, Liverpool have just... don't even know where to start with Liverpool, really. Like, when you looked at that squad, especially even before they signed Isak, you know, they got Ekitike, Kerkez from us, Frimpong. They brought in that young defender, Italian guy. They tried to get Gahey, obviously that didn't work out. They brought in Wirtz, you know, and obviously then they brought in the big man, Isak. You thought, God, this team is just going to be an absolute monster, absolute killer. But then they go up against this Man United team who have been, let's be honest, shit. They have been probably the worst Man United team of all time, with a manager who has a record that is absolutely abysmal, and yet somehow they've lost to this team. I know, like, it's been, what, four games in a row now Liverpool have lost. They've lost to Chelsea, Galatasaray, Palace as well, like, and obviously Man United now. Like, 4 games in a row they've lost. Can they turn it around? Has the fact that they didn't get Gahey really shot them in the foot, or have they gone too top heavy? We'll know. We'll have to wait until the next game and see what happens there. Alright, the final game, which was yesterday, was West Ham 0, Brentford 2. Brentford, honestly, they are a really good team. Like, the new guy, Igor Thiago, like, he's scoring goals for fun. I might have to put him in my fantasy team, generally. West Ham, boy. Even though they've brought in Nuno, it just feels like it's their season's done already. They're just waiting to get relegated at this point. Oh, it's going to take a miracle for West Ham to stay up. It'll be, honestly, if they somehow find a way to stay up this season, I genuinely think that'll be a bigger achievement. Honestly, probably the biggest achievement, because West Ham have just been absolute pony, absolute dog shit this entire season. Nothing has gone right for them pretty much from day one, and I just can't see it turning around anytime soon. And yeah, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that is the week roundup. That is all done now. I will be doing another one next week once all the games have been played. And yes, also, breaking news, FIFA FC 26, I will be doing a career mode this week. I am coming back, boys. It is coming soon. It is time for me to go back into my manager role, because everybody knows that I am the greatest manager in all of football today, and I will prove it once again on FC 26. Andoni out, Morse in, brother. I'll show you how to win a quadruple, fam. Alright, and I'll also be doing a watch-along for the game. Unfortunately, I won't be going to the Forest game. I will be doing a watch-along instead, because I'm giving my tickets to my family this week. So yeah, I will be doing a watch-along for that. I'll be doing a preview and obviously a post-match review as well. So come and see those videos. They'll be coming out this week. And yeah, I'm excited for this one, lads. On that note, thank you for watching this preview. I've been your boy, Richard Morse. Up the cherries. And I'll catch you next week. See you later.